Hello traders, this is Rich from Tradesight. This is the market preview for Tuesday, January 1st, 2014. We had kind of a nothing day as far as the broad market went, but we had a little bit of a strength in some range expansion on the NASDAQ side. The ES futures, as we go into the end of the quarter and the end of the month today, did nothing. The NQ futures, however, were up 9 handles on the day. The trend closed at 1.35, which is going to elevate our 10-day trend average, which is kind of an important feature, and that is on the heels of just the broad market kind of doing nothing, which is kind of interesting. The advanced declines on New York were pretty decent at 600, but the NASDAQ side, while that was the stronger side of the market, only had 350 net advancers. Here's a look at the ES futures. I think the biggest technical feature is that we got to 11 bars up on the secret exhaustion run. We're still in the overbought territory, still barely short-term positive, hovering above the 8/8 level, so really just not a lot to be learned here from today's action. The MACD is still sloping lower, meaning that there's not a lot of momentum to the upside here, and we're essentially still in this trading range, this lateral range between 7/8 and plus 1/8. So essentially we're just bracketing the 8/8 level for now with a bit of a kind of just a balloon lift to the upside here. NASDAQ side was definitely a little bit more interesting, pushing a little bit higher, expanding the range to the upside. Note we're 11 bars up now. MACD has a little bit of a better slope to it, a little bit more positive, but we're getting deep into the count here. We've got a little bit better extension above the 1 candle in the NQs versus the ES. Levels to watch are going to be the 6/8 level after the frame shift here on the GAN box, and then very, very strong support at 3750, which is going to be the bottom of this little origin of the breakout here of this range that we released from the upside to. So levels are fairly well spread apart, have an upside bias here, but we're getting deep into the count here on the seeker. TLTs on the day did almost nothing. A little bit of positive action, closed up on the day by 28 cents. Here's the close Friday, here's the close today, but we're still basically inside the last 3 days worth of trading, so need to really release out of that range before we can call anything new technically. Oil futures did roll it to the downside just a little bit more. We're short-term negative now in the futures and have confirmation from the MACD. The 8/8 level is above it. 7/8 level is going to be key support, as we've talked about in the previous reports. We've got the triple top 1, 2, and 3 here. So the 7/8 level is going to have a lot of teeth at about 104 and 5/8. If we do release to the downside below that, the 6/8 level, which is generally a stronger level than the 7/8 in and of itself, which is a little bit different this time because of the triple top feature. But the 6/8 level will have the support of the 50-period moving average to help that out as well. Gold futures on the day still kind of holding price. We had a little bit lower trade. You see the tails down here, but still we've got all these closes in this range above the 4/8 level. So we're still short-term positive and intermediate-term positive, being above the 10 and 50-period moving averages. MACD is still positive, but starting to level off here after not really being able to release after this range expansion candle to the upside. Here's a look at the multi-sector daily chart. Everything was a little bit strong today. The banking index, the BKX, was just kind of hovering here. Had positive action out of the XAU, which portends well for the overall gold futures trade. So keep an eye on that for tomorrow. The oil services broke out to a new high. The OSX, that's the gray line here. Transportation didn't do too much, but the oil services asserting themselves is definitely a good sign for the broad market bulls. I want to talk about the 10-day trend now. We recorded 1.35 today on an intraday basis. That's going to elevate the average. We're actually getting close to oversold here. You see that we're a little bit closer to oversold and overbought here on the 10-day trend. The average is up to 1.19, which is not there, but certainly getting towards the neighborhood of oversold in the market, which is really kind of curious. And what that means is there's a lot of gas in the tank here to continue to the upside before we record anything that's going to be an overbought reading in the market. So right now the 10-day trend is not flashing anything that needs to be of cause for concern here for the overbought, oversold metric here in the overall market. So by all stretches, we could definitely power higher and squeeze higher this holiday shortened week. And finally, let's take a look at the sectors ranked from best to worst. Top gun was the gold and silver. Semiconductors were also very strong. Utilities came on pretty good. The oil services, as we had talked about, did have a very strong session. Bottom of the barrel was the defense index. The airlines were very weak today. We saw some weakness today in the scans in the shares of AAL, American Airlines. So keep an eye on that. BKX also didn't do too much today. It was just kind of hovering. And let's leave with this chart. This is the oil services, the OSX. Starting to push a little bit higher here into the exhaustion run. This 8/8 level at 312.50 is going to be a stopping point, a resting point. But we're only 6 bars up in the secret exhaustion. MACD is still positive and sloping upwards. So since we've shaken off this little bit of a downside here, we're back to short-term positive. Actually, technically, we never followed through to the downside and went short-term negative. We've been positive since about mid-June. Still positive to the upside here. So this 8/8 level is definitely in play and could power higher since we don't have the bar count in our way. All right, folks, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for Tradesight.